We're in Germany today, and with us is the new Audi e-tron GT, and we have the performance version which has 925 horsepower. Yes, as you can probably see, not much has changed around the outside. Very few subtle trims like this carbon camo trim down there, and a few changes here and there around the car, but the big changes are underneath. Bigger batteries, of course, more power. Like I said, 925 horsepower on this performance version. And it's got active suspension, which does some really incredible stuff with speed breakers and bumps. Handy for where we live. So why don't we hop straight in? So what does 925 horsepower feel like? Holy 2.5 seconds to 100 kilometers per hour. That's insane. And all GTs are now more powerful and quicker too. With the new e-tron, you've got 3 levels of power. You've got the S, which has 680 horsepower. You've got the RS, which has 857. And then you have the RS Performance, which has 925 horsepower, making that the most powerful Audi production car. All 925 horses are unleashed only at launch. On the move, the RS and RS Performance have 748 horsepower, still plenty. And you can also dial up an extra 95 horsepower. So 2 very handy buttons that you can use out on an autobahn, unrestricted stretch that we are on, is the RS button here. So we're in RS2 and boost. Yep, and we are very soon past 250, 260. Okay, and we have to back off. There is some amount of traffic. Yes, even on the German autobahn, you will have traffic. Of course, all moving at 200 plus. Feeding the e-tron's extra power is a larger 105 kilowatt-hour battery that's also lighter by 9 kilos. Charging speed is up 50 kilowatts to 320 kilowatts, and that means it can go from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes on a fast charger. The other big change is active suspension. Air springs and active hydraulic dampers change body height in an instant. Handy when entering and exiting, and amazing on the move. Now out on public roads like this, if you're going through corners, pushing it really, a little bit harder, it's remarkable. The body control is just, it's flatness. There's no body roll. You really have to be like on a racetrack somewhere to push it into leaning, because right now, yeah, it's lovely. The suspension actually pushes down to control roll as well as squatting and pitching during changes in pace. So this being an EV, there's obviously no sound or very little of it, but this is the e-tron GT, so there is a synthesized sound. It's quite sporty, and it's a nice mix between something futuristic like an electric motor and also a traditional combustion engine. So if you were in a sporty mode like I am right now and you floor it, I don't know if you pick that up, but you'll hear that mix of sound, and frankly, it's synthesized, but it's still enjoyable. Inside, little has changed. The steering wheel is new, similar to new Audis like we saw on the Q6. So there's no buttons sadly, but a guided touchpad instead. The seats are redesigned and there's new trims and colors on offer, as well as a leather-free interior option too. Other bits are all familiar, so you have the virtual cockpit and switches that have a nice quality feel to them. Outside too, it's pretty much the same as before, which is no bad thing. This is a gorgeous car. The trapezoidal grille with the embossed hexagonal pattern, the depressed bonnet and the multi-segmented headlamps look very sporty, as do the new 21-inch alloys and the L-shaped blades at the lower bumper's edge. So when do we see all this in India? Mid-2025, and all 3 variants are scheduled to arrive here. Expect prices to rise over the 2 crore mark. Understandable given the massive bump in power, a larger and quicker charging battery pack, an increased range, and the brilliant active suspension. It's a facelift that's far more than just skin deep.